Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, October 12, 2025, time in Texas, about 7 a.m. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. Some of the sources I'll use today: God in the Bible, Patriot, Subscribers, Redacted, Hal Turner, Breitbart, PINBALL, Plus. Some of the things we'll cover: the U.S. military is deploying. I believe it has to do with Venezuela. And we had a Tennessee bomb manufacturing facility blow up, and tragically, we understand there are no survivors. Was that, I wonder, one of the cells activated? We'll see. And Dominion voting machine company has been sold to a Republican. So let's get started. So I'm going to begin with the tropics. According to the National Hurricane Center, we no longer have Tropical Storm Jerry in the Atlantic. We do have a new system coming off of Africa. 40% chance of development in 48 hours, 50% at 7 days, but it's also predicted to turn east. Now, off of the sun, we do have solar wind continuing to give us a low-level G1 geomagnetic storm. We do have more sunspots turning to face the Earth, so in a few days we should expect more flares. We're seeing an increase in large earthquakes. We know we had a 6.3 or 4 in the Philippines. We had a 7.6, I believe, in Drake Passage, the area between Antarctica and South America. And we're seeing the East in Africa, there's an East area rift, which has begun to spread over the last several decades, and we're seeing more earthquakes in that area. And on YouTube, Space Weather, formerly Suspicious Observers, an interesting paper discussing the magnetic field's impact on plants. And also a study, yes, going back thousands of years, when the sun changes, populations move. I'm familiar with studies in that area. We have this also from the website NASA Space Weather. Yeah, they just came out, I don't know, just a few months ago to tell us, oh, hey, we found out around the Earth there are electric field rotating rings. We just discovered it. When I put that out, I said, no way, they just discovered it. That would take decades of study. So at any rate, the U.S. government, NASA, has put that information out. Now they're saying some of these rings may be leaking and then letting in more radiation from the sun. And an evidence is that a red arc was seen yesterday over New Zealand. So we see changes in space. We have this from Redacted. NASA is hiding good pictures of Atlas. They're only showing us, the public, low-resolution pictures of Atlas coming from the Mars Perseverance probe. Yeah, and they're not showing us the high-resolution pictures. Redacted interviewed Dr. Michael SALLA, who is also putting this out, that the U.S. government and other governments are really hiding information from Americans and other people around the Earth. So, about Atlas. So that's going on. And now we have this from the Inquisitor. The U.S. may add, so we know on our traffic lights we have what? We have red, yellow, green, or it might be green, yellow, red. Okay, so the U.S. government is thinking about adding a fourth color, that'll be white. And when humans at a traffic light see white, it's to indicate to the humans that the autonomous vehicles are in charge of the traffic flow. So when the humans at a traffic light see the white light on, it tells the human drivers they should just follow the autonomous vehicles. Okay, sci-fi is coming. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah. So we had, that happened Saturday, yesterday in Tennessee, in Bucks, North Tennessee, in Humphreys County. There was an explosion of a Tennessee company that manufactures for the U.S. military bombs and other munitions. The name of the company is Accurate Energetic Systems. And BREITBART put this out a few hours after it happened, that 18 were missing, and I've seen a subsequent update. And tragically, there were no survivors from this explosion. I put this conspiracy theory forward. In a manufacturing company of this nature, there would be extreme safety precautions that would be always rigidly enforced. No room for error. So I submit this. Was this a job by one of the militaries from like Iran, Russia, or China that we know are inside the U.S., let in by the Dems with their open border policy during JB's tenure? In my mind, that possibility is strong. So that's going on. But our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims of this, I believe, sabotage that occurred in Bucks, North Tennessee at a U.S. military manufacturing facility for bombs. So that's going on. We have this from PINBALL. So we know we saw in the 2020 presidential election, we saw a coup take place by the deep state, the Dems, the rhinos, involving voting machines dominion. PINBALL brings this information out that yesterday, Friday, I believe, Dominion Voting Machine Company has been sold to a Republican. It's been the new name of the new company is Liberty Vote. They believe it will take them a year to go through all of the machines. And PINBALL puts this out. Now we have the Dems screaming for paper ballots. And we have this going on in Illinois. The Dem Governor Pritzker, who is actively verbally saying the state should not cooperate with the federal ICE agents trying to get the illegals out of Illinois, even though they're murderers and rapists. Pritzker is a Dem. So at any rate, the DOJ wants to audit the Illinois voter rolls to get rid of the illegals. Of course, the Dem governor says no, no, no. Why do the Dems? It's believed the Dems brought in all the illegals so they would vote for them, the Dems. So that's going on. We have this new information coming out from South America, Peru, where in 1928, many skulls were found. They're elongated. They have been determined. I know I heard a discussion on this by Ellie Marzulli a few years ago, not to be human. They're 25% larger than human skulls. They're 60% heavier. But they don't have, see, the human skull has a divider in it called the parietal ridge. These skulls don't have this. These are not human skulls. They were discovered in 1928 in Peru. They're called the Paraquas skulls. Paraquas. I believe that's the area in which they were found. Now, with the modern DNA, so DNA was taken from 5 skulls. They have the results on one of the skulls back. DNA was taken from hair, tooth, teeth, skin, and the DNA shows this is not human. Now, we're familiar with, from the Bible, the fallen angels mating with humans and making the Nephilim, the hybrids. So these skulls genetically are being determined to support what the Bible says. So that's going on. And now we have this. We have, so we've been seeing this military buildup in the Caribbean area. We know we have 10 U.S. warships. We have planes. We have tens of thousands of troops. We've been seeing many go to Puerto Rico, planes, F-35s, and so on. Now, off of the coast of, this happened last night about 9 o'clock, we have 2 small islands. We have Trinidad and we have Tobago. We now see the U.S. military moving to these locations. It's believed the U.S. preps for an invasion of Venezuela. We saw on Friday the deep state successor to Maduro being given the Nobel Peace Prize, Maria Machado. So that's going on. And now, Hal Turner reports last night about 9 p.m. we had 10,000 U.S. military going to Trinidad. We had the 82nd Airborne going to Tobago. So that's going on. And it's believed this is the final prep for the invasion by the U.S. military of Venezuela. So that's going on. And we have this. We have that with the U.S. government shut down by the Dems, it could have meant a stop in the pay to U.S. troops. However, President Trump has preempted the Dems from bringing this about by directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to pay the troops, reallocate money from other sources inside the defense budget. So way to go, President Trump. And we have this. President Trump is bringing about Doge 2.0. This comes from Daily Mail. During this dim shutdown of the U.S. government, President Trump proceeds to lay off or fire tens of thousands of additional U.S. government employees, including employees in the Treasury, Health and Human Services, HUD, the EPA, Homeland Security, and so on, up to 750,000. And we say, way to go, President Trump. Let's get rid of the bloated U.S. government that we currently have. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.